Have you ever had one of those days, or maybe weeks, where you feel like you're just going through the motions? Well, today we're diving into a really powerful idea that living a life with purpose isn't some luxury, for other people. It's actually a fundamental human need. And we're going to figure out how to find that unique spark inside you, even when the world feels so full of noise. So, let's just start with a quick check-in, just for you. Think about your day-to-day routine, the commute, your job, the endless scrolling, all of it. How does it really make you feel at the end of the day? Do you feel energized, connected to something bigger? Or are you feeling kind of drained, a little disconnected, maybe even just adrift? It's a feeling a lot of us can relate to. And that feeling of drifting, if it goes on too long, can lead to what some call an unworthy life. Now that sounds pretty harsh, right? But this isn't about some huge, dramatic failure. It's more of a quiet tragedy. The tragedy of just settling for less, of letting that unique spark that makes you slowly start to fade away as the days just blur into one another. Okay, so let's really dig into that feeling of drifting. In this first section, we're going to see why it's so much more than just a bad mood. It actually has real, measurable consequences for our lives. And look, this isn't just some philosophical idea. This is backed by some serious science. Researchers in a field called positive psychology, which is basically the study of what makes life worth living, have found a direct, undeniable link between a lack of purpose and some pretty serious negative outcomes. We're talking higher rates of depression and even, believe it or not, shorter lifespans. Having that sense of direction, it's absolutely vital. So, all of this brings a real sense of urgency to the conversation, doesn't it? Which leads us right into our next section, life's ticking clock and why finding your purpose really can't wait. Take a look at that. 70 to 80 years. On average, that's what we get. When you just see it written out as a number, it feels incredibly finite, doesn't it? It's a pretty stark reminder that our time here is definitely limited. This feeling that life is short, it is not new. This quote from Psalm 90 was written thousands of years ago, and it hits on the exact same idea. It's this timeless human question. If life is this brief, how do we make sure we don't just fill it with meaningless work and worry? And it really is a universal truth. You can see it stretching across all of human history, from one of the oldest stories ever written, the Epic of Gilgamesh, to ancient scripture, all the way to modern genetics, which literally confirms that our cells can only divide a finite number of times. The message, no matter where you look, is exactly the same. Our time is precious, and it's limited. Okay, so if our time is short, how in the world do we make it count? Well, the answer isn't out there somewhere. It actually starts from within. It starts with understanding your own unique blueprint. Just try to wrap your head around this number, 3 billion. That's roughly the number of DNA base pairs in your genetic code. It gives you just a tiny glimpse of the incredible, mind-boggling complexity that's coiled inside every single one of us. And what does all that complexity create? This simple, powerful truth right here. You are a one-of-a-kind masterpiece. Seriously, there has never been anyone exactly like you in all of history, and there never will be again. That's not just a nice thought. It's a scientific fact, and it's pretty profound when you let it sink in. And what's so cool is that you see two very different paths of knowledge arriving at the exact same conclusion. You've got modern science with the Human Genome Project mapping out the precise mechanics of why you're genetically unique. And then you have ancient wisdom from traditions all over the world, which have said for millennia that each of us carries a special spark and has a specific role to play. So you're unique. Great. Now what? What do you actually do with that information? Well, the next step is all about putting that uniqueness into action by finding the right balance between yourself and the world around you. Because it's really, really easy to fall into one of two traps on this journey. On one side, you've got isolation, turning so far inward that you're only focused on yourself, which we know leads to loneliness and poor mental health. And on the other side, you've got the total opposite, conformity, just losing yourself by blindly following what everyone else is doing, which completely waters down that uniqueness we just talked about. Both of them are dead ends. So how do we avoid those traps? How do we walk that fine line? The answer lies in this idea, altruism. Think of it as the bridge. It's what connects your personal, unique gifts to the needs of your community. It lets you honor what makes you special while still being part of something bigger than yourself.
And you know what's wild? There's a biological reason this feels so good. It's something scientists call the helper's high. It's simple. When you do something kind for someone else, your brain literally releases reward chemicals, things like oxytocin and endorphins. And the result? You actually physically feel happier and less stressed. It suggests that purpose isn't just a nice idea. Our bodies are literally wired to find meaning in helping each other out. And these benefits, they're not just some fleeting, warm and fuzzy feeling. They are measurable and they are long-lasting. We're talking everything from more happiness and less stress to actual physical benefits, like lower blood pressure and even a longer life. The science on this is crystal clear. Being good to other people is really, really good for you.
So all of this sounds great, right? But the big question is, where do you even begin? Our final section is all about turning these big, abstract ideas into small, real, achievable actions. It's time to take that first step. The best part is that a purposeful life doesn't start with some grand, complicated 5-year plan. It starts with things that are simple, things that are free, things like just greeting your neighbor with a real smile, sharing a meal with someone, inviting a friend for coffee. These small acts of connection, they're like the kindling for that inner spark. They're what build that bridge between you and your community, one tiny step at a time. And so, we're going to leave you with this question to carry with you, a little call to action. Looking at your own life, your own routine, what is one small thing you could do tomorrow, just one tiny change you could make to better balance that unique spark inside you with a little more care for the people around you? Your spark is there, it's just waiting.